Hey, I'm body language expert and behavior analyst Traci Brown. Let's do a review of the news. Everything you need to know about what's been happening. Who's telling the truth? Who's lying? Who's covering something up? And who do we need to know more about? Let's put all my training with law enforcement in deception detection to use for you. All right, let's look at Donald Trump. He got a little tongue twisted and let's just see if there's anything behind that, any meaning that we can glean, and take a look at this and stay tuned for my analysis.
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
No, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psychs you over at ABC. You're going to psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter.
Here's what we see is that he gets stuck. He gets stuck on a word, probably psychological, something along those lines, and he actually doesn't know what to say. And for a guy who's on TV all the time, every day, he's pretty on message. Like he doesn't lose his words really very often. And as a matter of fact, I can't remember a time that I've seen him this way. And so when he doesn't know what to do, he just reverts to his script, which is insults.
I think you are a terrible reporter.
Kind of a message that's like, okay, wait a minute, watch for this. It doesn't happen too often. And you'll know the truth is that he's completely lost behind the words.
You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter.
With Trump, I'm going cover up. If you're liking what you're seeing, I need you to do me a favor. Subscribe and like this episode. It helps me. It's going to help me do a lot more of these. And if you really want to help the cause, get yourself a mug. Yeah, lie detector in training. Can you see it there? Yeah, these are fun. The the link is in the show notes. Now this one I think is super interesting. Let's talk about the release of the Epstein files. That's right. Congress voted and it's time to release all of it. Pam Bondi got up with Patel to answer some questions. And let's just see, what do you think about her response? And what do we see from his? Take a look at this and stay tuned for my analysis.
On the Epstein files, does the new investigation by the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney prevent the department from releasing all of the remaining files?
So we have released over 33,000 Epstein documents to the Hill, and we'll continue to follow the law and to have maximum transparency. Also, we will always encourage all victims to come forward.
The next steps, Madam Attorney General, for the DOJ regarding what we assume President Trump will sign into law with the Epstein files? Is this going to be on the Justice Department website? What are you doing here over the next 30 days, as we understand it?
We will continue to follow the law with maximum transparency while protecting victims.
When you say follow the law, Madam Attorney General, do you mean that you will provide all the files by 30 days?
We will follow the law. The law passed both chambers last evening. It has not yet been signed, but we will continue to follow the law, again, while protecting victims, but also providing maximum transparency.
That, Madam Attorney General, the DOJ statement earlier this year saying that the files would not release mentioned the fact that the review of the documents and the evidence did not suggest that any additional investigation of third parties was warranted. What changed since then that you launched this investigation?
Information that has come for information. There's information new information, additional information, and again, we will continue to follow the law, to investigate any leads. If there are any victims, we encourage all victims to come forward, and we will continue to provide maximum transparency under the law.
First thing, she is is dodging as much as she can by hiding behind that statement, follow the law. Okay, so did Congress pass that law? I think that's how it works. Are there other laws there? I think so too. And, they may be doing an investigation to try to keep some of that information back.
Information that has come for information. There's information new information, additional information. And again, we will continue to follow the law.
Here is what I noticed from this, is that she uses that word maximum transparency 3 times, or it's a phrase.
And to have maximum transparency. With maximum transparency.
Every time she does some version of a head shake like this means no, okay? So the first time, it's actually a threat check, because notice how she looks really quickly. And then, because, she is managing a room there, and there could have been a movement over that way. But then the second time, it's an out and out shake of the head. And the third time, I think she's actually reading the room as well. But it's all some version of no. So maximum transparency is not one of her interests. That's what we get from this. Now, Kash Patel behind her is super interesting as well. As soon as the word Epstein is said, watch his shutter speed on his eyes.
Go ahead, now off topic.
On the Epstein files, does the new
that tells you how much stress there is around this topic. Now, a friend of mine did, I guess you'd call it an alliteration for me. And she said, if they're a blinker, they may be a stinker. So let me know what you think of that in the comments. However, we don't have almost any control over our blink rate. It is a very high indicator of stress, right? It can be connected to deception or not. Now, he doesn't say anything at this engagement, but what he does is his blink rate goes back to normal, and then I think he kind of emotionally checks out, because notice he doesn't follow, his gaze doesn't follow who's speaking. Like the other fella behind, I don't know who that guy is. You can put that in the comments too. He'll look at who's speaking. So Kash may be like emotionally checked out, not able to check into the situation. Why? There could be a lot of reasons. 1, he could be tired. I'm sure it's an exhausting job. 2, he may not care anymore. He could be exhausted. Or 3, he could be falling back on military training, like standing guard, okay, because that kind of training runs really deep. Remember, body language tells you what's on someone's mind. It doesn't tell you why. So we know there's stress here, and we also know ain't no transparency coming our way. Okay, Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, I'm going cover up with you two.
And we will continue to provide maximum transparency under the law.
We had Dick Cheney's funeral, and it, I believe, was one of the first times that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden had met up since her book tour. And so the media was curious, hey, how are they doing? So they gave me a call and sent me this video. Take a look at this and stay tuned for my analysis. Kamala and Jill look pretty good together. Like they look like they're having a good time. We know Kamala was saying something important because she pointed like this. That's what that means. It's something that's on point, okay? Now, look at this close-up shot. Look at their handshake. He only offers her just his fingers, and so much is hidden in a handshake. It can tell you exactly how much someone wants to engage. And in this case, I call it the short shake. That's what she gets. And it's like a barrier around the person who gives it that, hey, do not come close, not gonna connect with you. And that's what we got here. Now, for me personally, I've never been on the end of a shake like that wasn't like initiated by the person who was doing the short shake, and it can feel really weird and incomplete, and it actually is. So yeah, so we know they're maybe not on the best terms. Her and Joe seemed a little bit cool, right? Like not as tight, certainly not as fun. And here is what I noticed is that Kamala's leaning in a lot more. Joe is just not. Now, there could be a couple reasons for that. One, could it be cognitive decline? Yes, we know that's going on. Could it be that he didn't want to engage because of cancer? Well, I think he would be wearing a mask if that was the case. Kamala and Joe, icy. Let's talk about former ABC anchor Amy Robach. She claims that in some video just surfaced, she claims that she had the Epstein story 3 or 4 years ago. Is she telling the truth or not? Take a look at this and stay tuned.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in it because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton. We had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. Like, every day I get more and more pissed because I'm just like, oh my God, what we had was unreal. Other women backing it up. Hey, yep. Brad Edwards, the attorney, 3 years ago saying, there will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known. And I had it all 3 years ago.
Now we see a lot of things from her. She's rolling back and forth in her chair. Her arms are really tight. We see her lips rolling, and we see her looking at someone who I believe is on her right. Now, all of those things, they're signs of stress. And we don't want to get signs of stress to where we fully every time are saying, yep, that's deception. Okay. So in this case, I think she's telling the truth. And here's why. Because her tone is consistent all the way through. Okay. Her pacing is consistent all the way through. And it's of irritation, right? And disbelief. Because we even see her shrug her shoulders like this, right? Now, here's the thing. All of these movements are right on time. Okay, they're right on time. She's not manufacturing this information. If she was, the gestures would be a little bit behind of where you thought she should be. Or if you notice, like the finer points of her movements. And so I'm going truth on this because there's a flow and there's an ease to it. And I think she's just letting off some steam when she's not officially broadcasting. So yeah, I'm going truth on this one.
There will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known. And I had it all 3 years ago.
Let's finish this off with Patrick Mahomes. Take a look at his press conference this week. Is the attitude in the locker room and his attitude really what he's saying? Take a look at this.
Yeah, I think it just comes with the history that we've had and knowing that we have the guys to do it. It's about going out there and proving it now and getting better at practice, getting better in the film room, getting extra time at the facility. But I mean, talking with the guys throughout the building this week, I think guys are excited for the opportunity to go out there and prove that. But like I said, you got to go out there and do it. You can't just keep talking about it. You got to go out there and do it. And it starts with me and kind of has to feed through the entire team. He
says that the guys are excited. And as he does that, he does a one-shoulder shrug and points his chin towards it.
And knowing that we have the guys to do it.
That means that he doesn't believe what he's saying. It's consistent over and over and over again. So a one-shoulder shrug is a little bit of uncertainty, but when they point their chin towards it, definitely doesn't believe it. So the attitude in the locker room is not what he says. And then at the end, notice his lips.
For me, and kind of has to feed through the entire team.
They get really tight. They don't quite go in over his lips, but that says it can be anger and it can be stress. And all of that would make perfect sense. So for Patrick, though, I'm giving him a cover-up.
For me, and kind of has to feed through the entire team.